Lead poisoning amongst Cleveland's children is a decades-old problem.
Yes, it is, and a group of community advocates has grown tired of waiting for a solution. Instead, the group called CLASH, or Cleveland Lead Advocates for Safe Housing, are trying to force City Council's hand by using the city charter to bring proposed legislation front and center. News 5's Jordan Vandenberg was there as signatures were delivered. Jordan, go ahead and tell us the next step.
Well, so what's going on right now is that Cleveland city officials, as well as the Board of Elections, will spend the next 10 days certifying whether those 10,000 signatures are indeed valid. And if at least 5,000 of those signatures are valid, this proposed legislation could go before the Cleveland City Council at its next meeting. They gathered on the steps of City Hall and had a message for those inside.
We're not here to fight with City Hall. We're here to help City Hall solve this problem. If they choose to ignore it, if they choose not to support it, we will go to the November ballot.
Through the dead of winter, Cleveland Lead Advocates for Safe Housing, or CLASH, collected more than 10,000 signatures, and in carefully marked boxes, they delivered each one of them Tuesday afternoon. If deemed valid under the city's charter, the petition will force the City Council to consider the group's proposed legislation, which would require rental homes and daycares be certified as lead safe by 2021.
You would never rent a home if you didn't know what day the rent was due. You would never rent a home if you didn't know who was paying for utilities. The lead safe status of a house should be part of those exact same conversations.
We will treat it as a charter requires us to treat it. But from our perspective, from council's perspective, working with Councilman Griffin, we're not going to kind of go off course.
City Council President Kevin Kelly says while he respects the group's efforts, it will not deter the efforts of the Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition, which was assembled earlier this year. Comprised of civic, corporate, and philanthropic leaders, the coalition is still drafting potential legislation concerning the toxic lead that's prevalent on much of the city's aging housing stock. Recent studies have found that many of the city's most lead-infested neighborhoods are also its poorest.
To just have legislation that doesn't have a community-based buy-in, that doesn't have the resources to support it, doesn't get us anywhere. And we want to stop children from being poisoned. And you can't just do that by legislation.
We are here to challenge the gatekeepers and to let them know that our babies matter.
Both the Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition and CLASH have generally the same goal, but how to get there is another matter entirely. And as I mentioned, the city leaders as well as the Board of Elections were to spend the next 10 days certifying whether those signatures are in fact valid. As for the Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition, they're still drafting that policy, but could have some recommended changes by May 1st. Reporting live downtown, Jordan Vandenberg, News 5.